Atlanta News First Plus starts now.
Thank you for joining us here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. I am Mariya Murrow with Catch Up Quick, where we catch you up on what's been going on in and around Metro Atlanta. First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris will join me in a moment with your First Alert forecast. And I want to start by taking you out to a shooting investigation turned homicide that we've been following all morning long, and want to let you know now that authorities have captured the man DeKalb County police say is a suspect in a double homicide. Atlanta News First Don Shipman is outside of DeKalb Police Headquarters, where the suspect is currently in custody.
He was picked up in Henry County. He had been on the run for a good 5 hours, and safety was a big concern for the public because police considered him extremely dangerous. This is who police were searching for. DeKalb investigators say that this man, 25-year-old Stephen Mathis, shot and killed 2 people last night. The victims, a man and a woman. This is where the shooting happened. The victims were found dead inside an apartment at the East Perimeter Point apartment complex along Treecrest Parkway. That's a gated community located just off of Snapfinger Woods Drive and Mill Road. Police say the shooting happened just before 8 last night. Mathis was captured right around midnight. Police have yet to release a motive, only saying that it's likely domestic related. We're here in DeKalb. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
And we are entering the second week of the government shutdown. The Senate has been working to make progress on passing a funding measure. Healthcare subsidies are a major focus right now for Democrats in this shutdown. And GOP leaders in Congress have been saying since the funding lapse began on October 1st that this shutdown must end. And in the meantime, thousands of federal employees are furloughed while other essential workers like TSA agents and air traffic controllers are working without pay. But Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the impacts of the shutdown are already being felt across the country. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond reports from Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport.
The FAA says it's delaying flights because of air traffic controller shortages, and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says controllers are already calling out sick because they are not getting paid right now. Here in Atlanta, there were 345 delays into or out of the airport yesterday, 5,800 across the country. 12 FAA facilities saw staffing shortages last night. The tower out in Burbank, California, outright closed in the afternoon, forcing pilots to coordinate with each other. Duffy says if the number of sick calls continues to increase, they'll have to reduce the flow of air traffic. The 35-day shutdown back in 2019 ended when delays and sick calls snarled air traffic.
I want to make sure they keep Americans safe and airplanes safe. But what the consistent message was from these controllers was they're not just now thinking about the airspace and the jobs they have to do in these towers or TRACONs or centers across the country. They're thinking about, am I going to get a paycheck?
Looking again here in Atlanta to try to mitigate the impacts, Congresswoman Nikema Williams and Mayor Andre Dickens have come up with a relief package for TSA agents to include meal vouchers and free parking here at the airport. At Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
And let's talk about a shooting that really rocked the Mechanicsville community last August, and now back in the headlines as shooting suspects involved in this case appeared in court before a judge yesterday. Well, this morning, one of the people whose lives were changed forever by this shooting is sharing her new reality. Atlanta News First spoke with Kamisha Battle outside of the Fulton County Courthouse after the suspects appeared in court.
3 of the 4 men arrested in this case appeared before a judge this morning. None of their attorneys were present. One said he was never assigned an attorney. The other 2 say their attorneys did not show up today. Now, one of the defendants, Tyler Branford, pleaded not guilty in the courtroom today. Branford, along with Brandon Hart, Jaquan Taylor, and Noah Williams, were all arrested and charged in connection with last August's shooting. 3 teens and 2 adults were shot during a family reunion, according to police, leaving 1 woman blind and another paralyzed. Witnesses told police a car allegedly pulled up, people got out and started shooting. before driving away. Now, the family of the victims say they want justice for what happened to so many of their loved ones, but Branford maintains his innocence and says he does not know the other men allegedly involved. He says he was leaving a different venue that day.
When I was leaving, I was stuck because a whole crowd of people in the middle of the street. That thing, you know, a big shootout break out. I'm stuck there. I couldn't move because I was in my car. I got the bounce house and all my family members behind me. We all leaving.
Noah Williams was not on the docket to appear today. He was the fourth suspect arrested in this case about a month ago. At the Fulton County Courthouse, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
Yeah, really difficult when we talk about stories like these, and appreciate hearing from Sarah on those two different reports. All right, I want to talk about a health warning from federal officials that you might want to know about, because a lot of us are on the go and we don't necessarily have time to make our meals. So if this applies to you, listen closely. A consumer warning from federal health officials cautioning not to eat certain HelloFresh meal kits, specifically the ones that contain spinach. They may be contained with listeria, according to officials. The alert is linked to an expanding outbreak for heat and eat pasta meals produced in California. Now, we have more details about what specific meal kits we're talking about on our website at atlantanewsfirst.com. So if you think you might have this or you might have consumed this, please go to our website and make sure that you check the code on your meal kits. And of course, if you do, throw it out and contact USDA. All right, one more thing I want to talk to you about before we get to weather, and this is involving the future of transit in Atlanta. Nearly 2 million people are expected to move into the metro area in the next 25 years. At the same time, public buses and trains are seeing fewer people getting on board. Atlanta News First senior reporter Patrick Quinn spent months digging into Atlanta's transit struggles and solutions.
How do you get to work? For Morgan Vaughn, it's complicated.
It took us a lot of looking to find a place, this close to MARTA.
Morgan and her boyfriend just moved to Midtown. She walks 15 minutes to catch a train, then takes the train 20 minutes north to work. From her seat, the advantages of public transit are obvious.
Especially when you go past, like you're on the highway, and you look at all the cars going slower than you.
But here's the catch. Morgan only rides MARTA to work on weekdays. To get to work on weekends, she tried for over a year, but couldn't trust it. A 45-minute commute too often ballooned to 2 hours each way.
The trains were mislabeled, the transfer, the extra time, it all starts to compound on each other and it just becomes unusable.
So now, on weekends, she borrows her boyfriend's car, and while on weekdays she zips past the car traffic, on weekends, she adds to it.
You do need it to be reliable. If you can't rely on it, nobody's going to take it.
Public transportation only works if the public can trust it. If a train or bus does not show up consistently, people will stop riding. And in fact, they already have. In 2020, before the pandemic, MARTA welcomed 2.1 million riders on buses and trains every week. Now, they register just 1.2 million weekly rides, a 45% drop in just 5 years. All while Atlanta has grown by more than 250,000 people. This ridership drop impacts everyone in the city, whether you yourself ride MARTA or not. For fewer people on transit equals more cars on the road. The obvious and overwhelming issue, many former riders are now working more from home. Like Mike and Jeff, both regular riders pre-pandemic, they now tell me they cut back.
If you were at 3-ish days a week, or maybe 4 even on some weeks, what are you at now?
0.
As reliability has taken a hit, I actually find in some cases that driving is a little more reliable.
But other cities are having more success post-pandemic. We looked at public transportation ridership for 3 southern cities, Atlanta, Dallas, and Miami. Atlanta's in blue. You see all 3 plummet right at the start of the pandemic. And the other 2 cities, they start to incrementally increase. Atlanta is much slower to rise, to the point where 2023, 2024, and to 2025, Atlanta's ridership 45% of what it was pre-pandemic. Outside of the pandemic, the second external factor continually impacting ridership is as Metro Atlanta has grown, MARTA has not grown with it. Cobb County historically rejected MARTA expansion. And in 2019, Gwinnett County also said no. So major cities like Mariya, Peachtree Corners, no MARTA. The state's largest public school district, Gwinnett County, no MARTA. Major entertainment hubs, Six Flags, or going to a Braves game, you cannot take a train. For many riders, they can't reach MARTA, and MARTA can't reach them.
It's not like you can go anywhere in Atlanta on the MARTA. It's pretty limited.
Meaning buses and trains don't go where people need to go. Marcy Williams-Pudalov calls them dead zones.
There's little dead zones all around the city, and you don't even realize until you have to go to those places.
From talking with many riders, and I talked with many riders, MARTA is not providing a fantastic experience every day. For Ashley Powell, it was a lack of reliability. Her bus to take her 8-month-old Cadence to daycare was constantly late.
I even asked the driver, like, what happened? I've been sitting out here waiting for 2 hours for you, you know? And they're the ones who are just like, oh, that's MARTA. And I'm like, y'all got to do better.
For Howard Matthews, the trains keep getting stuck, causing slowdowns.
There's always, almost every day when I get on MARTA, there's a situation that happens. I was coming from Dunwoody to 5 Points today, and the train was stuck.
For Micaiah Witherspoon, who takes the train to school, she doesn't always feel safe.
Like, older men will try to, like, come to approach me and things, and, like, it's really uncomfortable. You don't really feel safe. And, like, we know MARTA police is out there, but they're not really on site out there.
Well, we did more digging. Another factor for the ridership drop, Atlanta businesses are not as invested in subsidizing their employees' breeze passes, the cars used to access MARTA. In 2020, businesses invested $15 million in the MARTA's Employer Partnership Program. It's now half that.
Thanks so much.
Those are some of the issues. Here's the urgency. The time to get more people riding public transportation in Atlanta is now. With 1.8 million people, the population of Indianapolis projected to move into metro Atlanta in the next 30 years, Atlanta and Atlantans need more of MARTA.
And just to let you know, we're talking about this and continuing this conversation, but happening today, Atlanta News First is giving you a chance to voice your opinion to MARTA and how it can better serve the community. We're hosting a town hall meeting at the Atlanta Central Library. Attendance is free, but you do need to register to get a ticket. The URL is on your screen. You can also go to our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. All right, as promised, there are some changes to the weather we want to let you know about. First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris joining me now with your First Alert forecast.
Okay, Mariya, and we actually have a bit of breaking news here. We have Tropical Storm Jerry that just formed in the Atlantic Ocean. Mariya, we've been talking about this as a tropical wave over the past week or so. As of 11 a.m., we now have, 15 minutes ago, Tropical Storm Jerry, which is east of the Caribbean right now with 45-mile-per-hour winds. So that's brand new information. I want to give you the latest, really the first forecast track for Jerry. This is going to be interesting. Jerry is forecast to track northwestward and get fairly close to the Caribbean. As you can see, Jerry will really brush the northeastern Caribbean. This will be Friday going into the upcoming weekend. And Jerry is forecast to become a hurricane. So we are, forecasting it to be a hurricane. I'm going to make this full so you can get a better idea of what's happening. And then, 2, by the end of the week, again, kind of brushing up against the northeastern Caribbean. However, and this is what's important for us here in North Georgia, like most of these little waves and tropical systems that have started out close to Africa, Jerry is expected to ultimately turn away from the U.S. So it'll get close to the Caribbean, but it will make that right turn, and we are not forecasting Jerry to impact the U.S. at all. But brand new information with that tropical storm developing as of 11 o'clock this morning. Want to bring it back closer to home because we do have our own forecast to talk about. Ella and I were talking about this morning. Just kind of a yucky 2 days going all the way back to Sunday. I know it was super cloudy this morning across North Georgia. I promise you the clouds will eventually clear out. It won't be completely sunny, but I do think you'll see some peaks of sunshine before sunset later on this evening. And it's for that reason that we're actually forecasting warmer high temperatures. Right now, it doesn't look like it. It's still mostly cloudy, but you can see a little sun trying to peek through there. Your current temperature is 73 degrees. So this is the current situation here that we're looking at in terms of our forecast model. So we do have a cold front that will be sliding southeast and into North Georgia tonight, going into Wednesday. As that front does that, we do have A slight chance of a few showers in northwest Georgia this evening, like from Rome to Carrollton to LJ northwestward. This is after sunset primarily. And we do believe that most of the rain from this system will actually impact us early on Wednesday morning. So we dropped the first alert for Wednesday. That doesn't mean it won't rain. But because the highest impact is going to be, as you can see, like 3, 4 in the morning, while most of us are asleep, we dropped that first alert. Now, we're expecting the rain to break up as it moves closer to Atlanta around 6 or 7 or 8 on Wednesday morning. So there will be some rain out there for your commute, but it won't be much. So spotty showers, but again, not enough rain to really warrant a first alert. And as that front continues to slide south throughout the day, we're actually showing what may be some redevelopment, what should be some redevelopment of some showers and even some isolated storms, but that'll be mainly south of Atlanta, south of I-20 Wednesday afternoon going into Wednesday evening. So overall, I believe the coverage of rain tomorrow will be 40% in the morning and then slowly kind of dwindling down about 30 or 20% in the afternoon. In terms of your threats for Wednesday, of all the possible threats we look at when rain rolls through, it's really just rain and maybe a little lightning that we're looking at for Wednesday. And that lightning would be Wednesday afternoon. So we're not really forecasting any severe weather or any flooding or anything like that here over this particular event. So 20% chance of a stray shower or two this evening, mainly in northwest Georgia. It should get into the low 80s before that rain moves in. And then by Wednesday, 40% chance of rain primarily in the morning. There will be some activity in the afternoon, mainly south of Atlanta. 84 is your high. And then getting into the weekend, high pressure will start to build in. That's going to make for a great weekend. A lot of sunshine going into Saturday and Sunday with highs dropping into the 70s and lows in the 50s. We'll keep you up to date on this forecast with an update on Atlanta News First at noon. You can always find your forecast in the First Alert Weather app. Till next time, we'll see you soon, everybody.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert Weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.